Thanks, Tim, and thanks all for this opportunity to present Manuka Resources to you. As you can see from the slide, we do have two precious metal projects in the Cobar Basin. We have a gold project, our Mount Boppy Gold Project, and we also have our Wonnewinter Silver Project. And we are also the owner of our recently completed purchase, the Taranaki VTM project. Actually, I do confess I may be here somewhat under some false pretenses because although Share Cafe noted Manuka is a gold and silver producer, which is correct, and we're extremely optimistic on both those projects. The project I really want to focus on and spend more time on today is this Taranaki project, which really is a company maker. Next slide, please, Tim. The disclaimer, the presentation is available on our website and you can all read the disclaimer at your convenience. Corporate summary, the purchase of Trans-Tasman Resources, who are the owners of the Taranaki VTM project, was a scrip deal. So we've now got 466 million shares on issue. Move to the next slide, please. This is our executive team. Alan Eggers and John Seton have joined us on our board, both bring enormous experience. They were the directors of PTR. And I think important to note that the management team has a combined shareholding in Manuka Resources, which exceeds 30%. So our interests are very much aligned with our shareholders. Next slide, please. So the Cobar Basin, a major producers, it's a very well-known mining province. It's a substantial mining province. The map on the right-hand side with the blue triangles shows the 5 operating mines within the basin. The one at the top, the Endeavour mine, is actually on care and maintenance at the moment, but has been producing up until recently. And then where exactly is Cobar? It's about 600 kilometres northwest of Sydney. We have a substantial holding, as can be seen in that sort of dark pinkish colour on the map. Wonnewinter on the western side of the basin, Mount Boppy on the eastern side of the basin, and we have a comprehensive exploration target review underway at the moment. We've got a new chief geologist, Phil Bentley, and we expect to release this through the ASX. This review will be released through the ASX middle of December this year. Next slide, please. Mount Boppy. Historically, this mine has produced 500,000 ounces of gold at almost half an ounce, at 15 grams per tonne, which is a fantastic grade. We commenced production on this project in April of 2020. We expected to produce 22,000 to 24,000 ounces of gold. We ended up producing 41,000 ounces of gold. We suspended operations at the end of last year to bring out a resource update and to get our plans resolved going forward. We've now got an updated resource at this point in time of 45,000 ounces at almost 5 grams per tonne. Management is extremely positive about the extensions from Mount Boppy. We think mineralisation will extend at depth as well as to the south and to the north as well. This will form part of our review, of our target review. Important to note on the photograph on the left-hand side, the blue area, the blue shade area of that photograph, that's the extent of depth we went to on our recent recent pit design. That's about 120 meters deep. Mineralization that we know of extends over 250 meters. And if you look at the grey shafts and tunnels on the right-hand side of that slide on the left, on that photograph on the left, the old timers between 1895 and 1925, they went down to a depth of 250 meters at that point in time. Tim, next slide, please. Silver production at Wonnewinter. Look, we're very, very well positioned within the central Cobar Basin, and we've got great infrastructure. We've got a substantial plant with a capacity of over 850,000 tonnes per annum. We've got a 51 million ounce resource. We've got a mine camp, office block, infrastructure, tailings, water, and so on, and we're fully permitted. We've recently restarted production on our stockpiles, on our silver-bearing stockpiles. which can be seen on the bottom right-hand photograph of the slide. Those have been processed in a trial campaign at the moment. We started that in April, and they'll continue into early 2023. That aside, we're watching the steadily increasing silver price very closely with great interest. It's getting to the point, not quite there, it's getting to the point where we'll be committing to silver mining for the next 4 to 5 years. Next slide, please. Purpose of this slide is to highlight that the Cobar Basin is a very, very deep basin. Some of our fellow miners, the CSA copper mine owned by Glencore, that's over 2 kilometers deep at this point. The Peak Gold Mine, which is owned by Aurelia, over 1 kilometer deep. The Endeavour Mine, over 1 kilometer deep. Our Winter Silver Project is only 60 meters deep. I've mentioned that the Mount Poppy Gold Project is we're only down to 120 meters. This is part of the reason we're so optimistic about our exploration potential. We did conduct a Winter Deeps proof of concept drill program, which was in February of 2021, and that showed successful lead zinc silver mineralization over a 3 kilometer strike. This will get further attention from us over the next 12 months. Next slide, please. Okay, so we progressed to our recent corporate purchase, which is the Taranaki BTM project. BTM is vanadium, titanium, magnetite. Magnetite is an iron ore. This is an exceptional project with the capacity to completely transform Manuka. It broadens our exposure to additional commodities, both with bulk and battery applications. The project has a 3.8 billion ton JORC resource with vanadium, titanium, and magnetite. Move to the next one, please. So we have a mining license, or a mineral mining permit, as is known in New Zealand. And that's approved, and that's in Mining Area 1. I know it's a great name, Mining Area 1 in the dark blue. It's just outside their New Zealand territorial waters. It's within their exclusive economic zone, their EEZ. And it's in this area called the STB, or South Taranaki Bight. I think it's important to note that this is already an active petroleum region. There's 4 permits in existence, as well as an operating gas platform with pipeline all the way to shore. So what we're progressing in this region is, it's an industrial park within the sea with existing operation. Next slide, please, mate. So this slide is, I think, is the key for us. This and one that follows a little bit later, because there's 2 key features about this project which come through in the slide. The first is that the lowest cost iron ore producer, and our expected FOB costs will be between 20 and 23 US per ton, and that excludes any credits from vanadium or titanium. At the same time, and this is, again, very important, it's targeted at the lowest quartile for carbon emissions of all iron ore producers. It'll probably be the lowest of all iron ore producers. Our competitors range between 125 to 250 kilograms carbon dioxide per ton of ore produced. Will be around the 60, 63 kilograms. So a quarter of the majors and half of the smaller ones. Next slide, please. And the key features of this project is we have a mining license approved for iron ore for 5 million tons of iron ore for 5 years, which is substantial. And at the same time, this comes through with 0.5% vanadium, which I'm not sure if you're all aware, but vanadium is a critical mineral. It's deemed to be a critical mineral in the EU, the USA, Australia, and Canada. Our vanadium will have 0.5% vanadium pentoxide. Our metallurgical test work shows that this is recoverable to 84%. So 55 million tons reduced it by 84%. We'll be producing 46 million pounds of vanadium per year. This will make New Zealand, through this single project, 15% of global supply. The mine for vanadium is expected to double over the next 5 to 7 years. And vanadium, important to discuss its usage. It's got 2 applications. Historically, it's always been for tensile strength a kilogram of vanadium doubles the tensile strength of a ton of steel. So it's got great military and aeronautical applications. And then most recently, whereas lithium is the mobility mineral of choice for, for electric vehicles, it's got some faults in large installations. Vanadium is the mineral of choice for utility and grid installation. So the battery demand for vanadium is starting to explode. That's the reason for for the expected demand to double over the next 5 to 7 years. Next slide, please, Mike. Achievements to date. So this is what the previous board and owners of TTR achieved. Firstly, they've spent 85 million Kiwi to this point in time. They incorporated TTR in 2007. This is 15 years later. They've been pursuing their dream now for over 15 years. The original shareholders have completed a PFS, a JORC resource, which I've mentioned. They've got a mining license. EPA approvals were granted in 2017. They were open to challenge due to the wording of the exclusive economic zone. They've been through the Supreme Court to support their decision. They've been through a Supreme Court decision to support the project that was awarded in their favor. At the same time, they've also had the High Court rule in their favor. It's our expectations that the EPA Environment Consents to Operate will be reissued in the first quarter of 2023. Moving forward to the next slide. The environmental advantages of this project. So our Taranaki VTM project has numerous environmental advantages when you compare it to hard rock mining. We have no need for drill and blast activities. There's no heavy mining fleet. There are no haul roads or waste dumps. There's no grinding circuits. There's no railroads or ports. Essentially, we are operating in water with a depth of between 20 to 50 meters. We use a seabed-based vacuum cleaner, which sucks up the VTM sand from the seabed into a Cape-sized vessel on board. There's a magnetic separator, goes over the magnetic separator, and then we place back the sea sand that hasn't been extracted through the magnetic separator. There's no impact on regional fisheries, no legacy issues with rehabilitation. And the EPA previously deemed the rehabilitation process to be fully completed within 2 years. Next slide. Thanks. This is our IMV, or integrated mining vessel, essentially a Cape-sized vessel. And we're using the same technology that's been utilized by De Beers Marine for over 40 years. So De Beers are well-known diamond miners off the west coast of Namibia, South Africa. Essentially, they're using the same seabed vacuum cleaner. They're sucking up their sea sand off the seabed. They go through a screen. Hopefully the diamonds remain behind and they put the sand back. We'll be doing the exact same thing over our magnetic separator. De Beers have provided us with a commissioning and a production solution for our first 2 years of operations, and this can be extended. And at the bottom of this presentation, which I think it's on our website, and I think Share Cafe make this available as well, you'll see a YouTube, which actually is worth having a look at, 3 or 4 minutes YouTube, and demonstrates clearly the operation, the vacuum cleaning operation. Next slide, please. This was another reason, one of the key reasons we were attracted to this project. The economics of this project appear to be extremely robust. We've used the original TTR, Trans-Tasman Resources PFS that they completed. That's been adjusted during our due diligence for inflation, current costs and revenues for iron ore and the like. And basis current iron ore pricing, this project generates EBITDA of over $300 million per year. That excludes any credits for vanadium or titanium. We do expect credits for vanadium. I'll note at the bottom of the slide that we're not planning on any credits for titanium at this point in time. We think that'll be a little bit more of a work in progress. Next slide, which is coming to the end now. So our business milestone over the next 3 years, the sale of TTR to Manuka was completed earlier this month. We're expecting the EPA consents to be reissued Q1, late Q1. We'll have metallurgical test work and marketing reports finalized. At the same time, the BFS is going to be completed by the end of next year, heading into 2024. Finance at the same time. We expect, the most important point is we expect to have commissions and in production by late 2025, early 2026. That's just on to the next slide, please. So look, actually, that pretty much concludes my presentation. There are a few appendices which may be of interest to people, you know, with the JORC resources and so on. Please go through those at your leisure. The presentation is available on our website or through Share Cafe. Over to you. Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Dennis. Now, an obvious question is funding. How do you fund the next stage? I think I saw you've got some debt and only a small amount of cash. What's the next stage for funding?
So we are in discussion already with strategics on this. It's a bulk project with, as mentioned, with some very interesting minerals, you know, to flow from it. And we are in discussions with. So we'll be looking for next year for around about $15 million to complete the BFS, and we expect that to come from a strategic.
And is there any offtake conversations yet, or is it too early for that?
No. We have got offtake conversations already underway. Actually, one of the shareholders of TTR was a trading company. They don't have any lock-ins of offtakes and the like, so that's an open book for us going forward. But the obvious way forward is vanadium is a critical mineral. We see this having more of a market to Europe, non-China Asia, and the USA. Steel mill, there's substantial steel mills in that region who would have interest in the offtake, or signing agreements with us. We have seen the results of a marketing campaign to China early on in their genesis, and that was fully sold out very quickly.
Dennis, unfortunately, that's all we have time for, but there's a couple of questions online. If you could take the time to answer those, that'd be most appreciated.
Thank you, Tim. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Dennis.